Believe it or not, 2021 is halfway over, but with a busy Q3 and Q4 ahead of us, there is still plenty of games to get excited about. Hey there friends, it's Codiak here, one half of the team behind Legacy Gaming, and today we're showcasing all of the big titles still to be released in 2021. To kick off our list, let's talk about a 4X game that's been in development for a few years now. Humankind is the latest project from Amplitude Studios, the same team behind Endless Legends, a popular 4X fantasy game. This time around, the team is taking a more worldly approach to give Civilization a run for its money. Humankind is all about learning as you grow. You'll actually be able to evolve your civilization throughout the various periods in the game, transforming them from one culture to another based on the decisions that you make within each game. Decision making is a huge part of Humankind, and outside of the standard building of structures and wonders, you'll also have to make a ton of decisions that will directly influence what type of civilization you'll grow into. Much like a grand strategy game, hundreds of scenarios will force you to choose between just a few options, and those choices will have lasting effects. Humankind won't hold your hand either. Much like Endless Legend, the developers want players to experience the game and explore every possibility while adhering to a loose guideline of rules and victory conditions, all in hopes that each game is a new experience. 4X games can be a bit of a slog to break down, but if you want more info on this upcoming game, check out Party Elite, a YouTuber doing incredible deep dives into the game, as well as gameplay videos showing off what players can expect in Humankind on August 12th. One part Zelda, another part Pikmin, and all absolutely gorgeous. The team at Ember Lab decided that being incredible animators wasn't enough. They wanted to get into the video game world, and my gosh, this game looks incredible. Kena: Bridge of Spirits is a straight-up action-adventure game driven by a deep narrative. You'll befriend little companions called Rot that will enhance and augment your skills as you fight your way through bad guys in search of a sacred mountain shrine. Kena will feature everything we've come to know and love from this genre: platforming, puzzle solving, and of course, combat with a staff and bow. But I truly think there is more than meets the eye when it comes to this game. Ember Lab have yet to release a game, but I think it's pretty refreshing to have new blood in the gaming space. I do have a natural tendency to always be a bit more skeptical with first-time devs, but at this point, Kena: Bridge of Spirits is looking gorgeous, and everything I've seen of the game has blown me away. This is definitely a title to watch, and with an August 24th release date, we won't have to wait long before we get the chance to check out this brand new fantasy adventure. At the end of 2015, the Double Fine team had crowdfunded enough money to start production of Psychonauts 2, an action-adventure game with a massive cult following. Now, in 2021, we're diving back in to check out what's changed in the wild and wacky universe of this game. Once again, we play as Roz, but this time we're heading to Psychonauts HQ to realize our dreams of becoming a fully fledged Psychonaut. The game combines classic 3D platforming with some telekinetic abilities that help players solve puzzles and take on enemies. Like the first Psychonauts, things are bound to get a little weird, but if you're okay with some campy humor and bizarre writing, this is absolutely a game to check out. Nearly 2 decades later, Psychonauts still has a massive following. With the new game releasing on August 25th, I have no doubt the Double Fine team have once again crafted a truly unique adventure. New World is, for lack of a better phrase, Amazon Studios' last attempt at breaking into the gaming world. After a few failed launches of other games, the team is betting big on this brand new MMORPG. Eternum is a brand new world shaped by magic, and thousands of players have already seen and experienced the game across multiple open betas and trial periods. New World has been delayed multiple times, the team has been reshuffled, and they continue to double down on the content, trying to create a more competitive game at launch. And with the recent addition of structured group combat in the form of expeditions and major changes to some of the PvEVP elements within the game, the developers are really betting big on a successful launch at the end of the summer. All of the standard systems MMO players have come to expect from their games are now in the mix. Crafting was one of the highlights of early testing, while the questing was far from perfect, but things have undergone a major overhaul since then, and the community is rather excited about how much the devs have invested in improving the gameplay systems. New World might be the MMORPG players have been waiting for, and at long last, it finally has a concrete release date. If you're interested in learning more about the game, definitely check out Sir Medieval's channel on YouTube. The dude has been covering New World for well over a year at this point, and is easily one of the best sources for information about the game. If you're into extreme sports, Riders Republic seems to have it all. Mountain biking, BMXing, snowboarding, skiing, wingsuit racing, paragliding, and even wacky things like rocket bikes and rocket wingsuits. There are dozens of sport activities to suit whatever your current mood is that day, all wrapped up in this supposedly huge open world. Comprised of iconic US national parks such as Bryce Canyon, Yosemite, Sequoia, Zion, Canyonlands, Mammoth Mountain, the Grand Tetons, and more, all smashed into one seamless open world, it seems there will always be some place to go hang out with your buds, whether you're just taking in the sights, searching for secrets, or getting your adrenaline pumping. There will also be competitive game modes, classic freestyle courses, PvP arenas, and even a lab allowing players to create and share their own course creations, something Livin and I both firmly believe is a necessity to the life of any sandbox-style game. The crazy nature of Riders Republic is clearly resonating with fans as the official trailer continues to rack up millions of views, and with such an emphasis on wild and crazy fun with little to no rules, I totally get it. At this point, I may be one of the few people that really thinks Deathloop is going to be an incredible game. I'll admit it's hard to wrap your head around the idea of a roguelite FPS puzzle murder mystery, but that's exactly what we're talking about here. You play as Colt, and your job is to kill a number of high-value targets called the Visionaries. You have guns, of course, but you'll also have a plethora of arcane-style abilities, some borrowed from the Dishonored games, others brand new to Deathloop. The X-factor with the game is that there is a slight PvP element to it all if you want. Players can opt to play as Juliana, whose only mission is to kill Colt. Most of the time she'll be controlled by an AI, but in a twist, Arcane is giving players the opportunity to take control of her and jump into other players' games. Don't worry, this isn't an always-on feature, but it's neat. The goal is simple: figure out how to kill all of the Visionaries across multiple districts in one day. It's not a timed game, but you'll have to figure out how to get everything to line up perfectly so that you can actually kill all of your targets. If Deathloop sounds a bit convoluted, I get it, and I think the developers do too, because they've released a ton of deep dive videos in the last few months that help break down the game even more. Deathloop arrives, good, bad, or otherwise, on September 14th. Next on our list is Rainbow Six Extraction, and after years of competitive action in Rainbow Six Siege, the Ubisoft team is taking a turn and creating something just a bit different. Extraction is a 1 to 3 player co-op shooter where teams will complete a number of research objectives as they confront the Parasite, the collective name given to a group of alien zombie hybrids. If you've played Left 4 Dead, you should feel right at home here. There are different types of enemies, each with their specific purpose. Basic units that are meant to charge and overwhelm players, cloaked enemies that will catch you by surprise, all the way up to magic-wielding parasites that throw alien fireballs at you. Behind the co-op objectives is the classic Rainbow Six gameplay. Players take control of operators, each with their own unique skills and equipment. Who you choose to play gives you different options when taking on each mission objective. Each mission features multiple layers, and players will have the chance to extract early to bank the rewards they've collected up until that point. But as with these types of games, the further you go, the higher the danger, yet bigger the reward. Obviously, there are a ton of Rainbow Six channels out there to follow, but if you're looking for someone diving into the nitty-gritty, check out Core Ross, who's going above and beyond to break down details about the game ahead of launch. It's hard to believe it's been over 2 decades since Diablo 2 was released, and in many ways, that game transformed the gaming world, establishing the ARPG genre and laying the foundation for dozens of incredible titles to come. Well, that experience is getting remastered and reintroduced to players this fall, and honestly, after the success of WoW Classic, I have a feeling this is going to be a big success. At its core, the game isn't changing, but it is being modernized. Diablo 2 Resurrected will feature completely overhauled graphics, cross-progression on both PC and console, and up to 8-player co-op. Other little things have been revamped too, like the user interface and stash, all aimed at just making the player experience a bit better. But like I said, at its core, the game is the game, and it's hard to fix what's already close to perfect. When it comes to ARPGs, there is no one I'd rather watch than Vulcan, our good friend here on the channel, and one of the best when it comes to breaking down action RPG games. I'm sure he'll be diving into Diablo 2 Resurrected, so definitely check out his channel if you're interested in following the game. This next game has been in development for a decade and a half, and believe it or not, I'm talking about Metroid Dread. The original concept for the next installment in the legendary series was planned back in the mid-2000s, but technical limitations forced the team to shelve the project until now. Originally revealed as Metroid 5, Dread is a 2D side-scroller, and if you played any of the previous Metroid games, things should look and will most likely feel familiar. You return as Samus Aran, fighting off hostile aliens while exploring a new and complex labyrinth-like world. This time around, the developers are throwing one major curveball at players, a new robot that Samus can't directly confront, but instead will have to hide from and evade. There will be some tech and skills that help players avoid these robots, like cloaking fields, but the idea is to create a sense of looming dread that accompanies the player at all time. While intricate details about the game are still sparse, what's not a mystery is the release date. Metroid Dread arrives on the Switch on October 8th. Ubisoft returns to its roots with Far Cry 6 as players take control of Danny, a former soldier now caught in guerrilla warfare on the island of Yara. Frozen in time, the game captures the spirit of revolution in places like Cuba, as average people confront a ruthless dictator played by Giancarlo Esposito, masking as a savior. The game feels more grounded, with a renewed approach to telling a cohesive story. This time around, the game won't feature an arcade mode or map editor, instead choosing to focus more resources on the campaign mode. As with other Far Cry games, the action is paramount. Guns are big and more explosive than ever, and the usual emphasis on bizarre vehicles is just as important. Far Cry 6 also unveiled its DLC plans, which include revisiting the villains of the past few major games, and this is truly a big deal. Characters like Voss are iconic across the video game landscape, and to play as the bad guys, well, that just sounds like a whole lot of fun. We'll be covering Far Cry 6 in depth here at Legacy Gaming, so don't forget to subscribe if you're interested in guides, gameplay, and more when the game releases on October 7th. If killing zombies by the boatload is something that excites you, then Back 4 Blood may just be the game you've been waiting for. Being developed by Turtle Rock Studios, the team behind Left 4 Dead, Back 4 Blood looks to evolve the genre with some innovative ideas all aimed at making the game highly replayable. Players will pick from a set of characters, each with their own unique weapons and bonuses. On top of that, you'll have to build a deck, comprised of cards that change your gameplay experience. These cards range from simple passive buffs to giving you access to certain weapons, and they're the defining system that helps players create individual playstyles. Behind the scenes is something called the Game Director, which uses AI to track your team's progress and adapts the enemy threat accordingly. The Game Director also has access to corruption cards, which layer in additional challenges on top of the mission objectives. Back 4 Blood pulls a lot of inspiration from modern games, and as such, players will be able to unlock a ton of rewards throughout their progression, including new cards, character cosmetics, and weapon skins. At its core, this is Left 4 Dead Evolved, and for many, that'll be enough. Back 4 Blood releases on October 12th on all major platforms, and you better believe we'll be screaming our heads off in our Legacy After Dark livestream series. The modern big team shooter is back, and frankly, it has never looked better. What started with an incredible teaser trailer featuring an impressive showcase of environments, we were soon met with an even more impressive gameplay demonstration, boasting an incredible 128-player map, a renewed emphasis on vehicle combat, and features like the Plus system allowing the swapping of attachments mid-game. Battlefield 2042 is nothing short of a giant love letter to the Battlefield community. The game will also feature revamped classic modes such as Conquest and Breakthrough, opting to do away with the single control point feature and upgrade them to sectors, control areas that are instead made up of multiple control points. The point here is to make combat more spread out on multiple fronts, to take away from that classic bottleneck effect that seemed to happen in every other Battlefield title before this. The other major change coming to Battlefield is the introduction of specialists. The classic Battlefield classes live on in dedicated characters that can use any weapon combination in the game, but have specific abilities and perks. such as the grappling hook that plays to that specialist's strengths. The game will also feature its signature levolution effects and new additions in the form of giant tornadoes and sandstorms that look to dynamically alter the battlefield when in effect. This will be a title to watch, and if you're looking for a Battlefield channel that goes out of its way to create awesome content, check out Silk. The dude has been making Battlefield content for years, and the dedication and love for the game is apparent, so definitely stop by his channel and check him out. I'm not gonna lie, Square Enix taking another stab at a Marvel game has me a bit worried, but the truth is, people are excited about Guardians of the Galaxy. This time, Eidos Montreal are developing the game, and truth be told, it's a bit more in their wheelhouse considering they have experience with this sort of single-player, narrative-driven experience. In Guardians, you'll only play as Star-Lord, but you'll have the opportunity to direct the rest of your squad to perform certain special attacks. Being that it is a Guardians game, there will be no shortage of wild alien creatures to fight and incredible worlds to explore, but in terms of the finer details, a lot of things are still unknown, including the story. From what we know so far, the Guardians set off a chain of catastrophic events that put them right in the belly of the beast, and it's your job to lead your team out of the quagmire. There's also an element of decision-making baked right into the game, which is an interesting twist. Your choices will directly impact how your team approaches a problem, and this should, in theory, change up the gameplay. Although just revealed, Guardians of the Galaxy is closer to launch than you think, and will be releasing on all major platforms this fall on October 26. When it comes to real-time strategy, you think Age of Empires. The King is back with its fourth major installment in a franchise that is expanded across multiple decades. Like in previous games, players will pick from a number of civilizations and compete against computers or other players for dominance on a map. There are 8 planned civilizations at launch, and each will come with their own unique units and gameplay advantages. Age of Empires 4 will also feature multiple campaigns where players can take control of influential leaders and experience history in real time. To be completely honest with you, it doesn't look like much of the Age of Empires formula is changing. You'll harvest resources, explore the map, construct buildings, and wage all-out war, and for some people, that'll be enough. Considering the real-time strategy genre has evolved immensely over the last decade, Age of Empires looks to hold firm to its roots. Simple systems that are all masterfully connected, giving players an authentic and familiar experience. If you want to learn more about the game, check out Spirit of the Law on YouTube, a master when it comes to Age of Empire games, and someone that has gone to exhaustive lengths to break down a ton of news and information leading up to the release of the game on August 28th. I may not be into driving games, but that doesn't stop me from acknowledging that Forza Horizon 5 looks to be one of the most beautiful games across any genre to date. Forza is all about driving in an open world, and it's at the core of the entire experience. This time you'll be driving across Mexico in a seamless world that's designed to be explored with others. Take part in story mode that has you completing challenges and exploring the world, race against players in a more traditional setting, or create your own challenges in Events Lab, a build-your-own playground where you can create game modes, maps, and more. It's hard to put into words how beautiful this game is, and Forza Horizon 5 promises to be the biggest and most diverse driving game to date. The series has a history of excellence, and it looks to continue that trend this fall on November 9th. Finally, we arrive at the last game on our list, Dying Light 2. For years, players have been waiting for the second installment of this game, and from everything we've seen, the Techland team looks to be continuing the legacy they've created from the first game. You play as a wanderer with the power to change the fate of the city, home of the last large human settlements. You'll scamper from rooftop to rooftop as you work to defeat your enemies and help your allies. Dying Light 2 will feature 3 major factions, each with their own goals and objectives. You'll have to choose who to help, but those actions will have gameplay consequences, opening up new opportunities while slamming the door shut on others. The melee-focused combat from the first game is back and more dynamic than ever, as the team promises a more expansive system in a vast open world that's bigger than ever. There are a lot of lofty promises when it comes to Dying Light 2, and after years of silence and rumors of development trouble, the time has almost come to see if the wait was worth it. Dying Light 2 launches on all major platforms on December 7th. So there you have it. Just when you thought 2021 was getting boring, a ton of new games with concrete release dates to get excited about. I can't promise that Legacy Gaming will cover all of the titles we talked about today, but we certainly have our eye on a few. So if you want to follow along with everything we're doing here on the channel, do us a solid and hit that thumbs up and consider subscribing. We're on the hunt for 150,000 subs by the end of the year, and you can help us reach that goal. You can also join us on Discord. Our community of around 7,000 members is spread across dozens of great games, so check out that link in the description below to join up. Finally, if you like everything we stand for here at Legacy Gaming, consider becoming a member. For the cost of a cup of coffee, you're helping evolve the channel and take our community to that next level. Check out the join button below to learn more. My name is Codiak, and from everyone here at Legacy Gaming, thanks for watching, and play on.